You're listening to the 179th edition of the Bitachon podcast. We're going to continue in Tehillim, chapter 62, verse 8. Perek Samach Beis, passuk Ches. Alelekim yeshi uchvoidi. Upon Hashem do I depend for my salvation and my honor. Tzur Uzi. He's the rock of my strength. Machsib Elikim. When I want to know who I'm going to place my trust in, where does my protection come from? It's from Hashem. Says the Ibn Ezra, Al, im kein ein alai levakish, shivosha, yeh kavod li. Says King David, I don't want to be saved so that I can have the honor. I don't want to be saved so that anyone can honor me. I'm not interested in that, says Dovid Hamelech. Because, look at what just happened, where Hashem helped the Jewish people to kill our great enemy, Yichya Sinwar, Yimach Shemai V'Zichrei. Who did it? Did the Jewish people do it? Did we do it because of our great military prowess? Because of the fact that we were able to drop 83 tons of bombs on him? No, Hashem did it. It was clear. It was done in a way, yes, it was a result perhaps of the efforts of the Jewish people. But Hashem did it for His honor. Hashem brought about the fall of our enemy in such a way that it's clear that it was Him. And Dovid Hamelech says the same thing. I'm not interested in my own honor. Don't save me or help me for my honor. Rakal Hashem, she'u yashini v'chabdeni. I'm not interested in an honor from anybody out there. I'm not interested in a salvation that anyone else should help me. I want you, Hashem, only you to help me. And if there's honor for me, I want it to come from you. That's the best way. We're going to see why it's so much better. But Dovid Hamelech is saying, I want the help from you. I want the honor from you. Says Rabbi Avram ben Ramuch, Ala lekim yeshi uchvoidi. What does it mean in the passuk when he says, it is upon Hashem that I expect my salvation from Him. The honor is to come from Him. And therefore I won't falter, I won't fall. Hashem must. I'm so convinced, I'm so confident Hashem must help me out. He must save me from my enemies. Hashem must help me, that I should be lifted up. This is King David speaking, but let's remember, Dovid Hamelech, King David, was the representative of the entire Jewish people. He's the king. The king is the koilel. He includes within himself everyone. He says, I need to be raised up and honored by everyone who sees me, with a great amount of honor. Why? Why does that have to happen? Who says it has to happen? He says that it's something that Hashem promises. It's something that is Hashem's nature, as it were. Those who trust in Hashem, there's a spiritual principle, and I heard this from Rosh Hashiva many times. He said, if you trust in Hashem, there's a rule in reality. Hashem shows you that He's there for you. Just like if someone would come and knock on your door and say, I have nowhere else to go. You don't think that he's a wild person. Doesn't look like a person that's going to be problematic. Someone knocks on your door and says, I have nowhere else to go. You're going to help him out. And that's human beings. So Hashem, who created us, certainly is that way. It's a spiritual principle. If you trust in Hashem, He has to help you. Since Hashem is the rock of my strength, that's where I get my strength to overcome my enemies. He's the one who protects me. I'm protected by His wings. I don't have anyone else to help me. I don't have anyone else to protect me. The result is, when I completely trust in Hashem, I'm not looking anywhere else for my salvation, so I know that He will save me, and He will give me the honor that I need. He will give the respect. If I want my enemies not to start up with me, they have to respect me. They have to know that they can't start up with me. When Hashem stands on the side of the Jewish people, on the side of King David, on the side of our leaders, that shows that He's there for us. And if Hashem is with us, so then you just can't start up with us. There's nowhere to go. There's no inroads to make. Says the Sefer HaIkarim, V'zeh sha'amar gamkin al elikim yeshiu chvoidi. Kolemar, what does it mean, says the Sefer HaIkarim, when it says in the passuk that I place my trust in Hashem, that He will provide salvation and honor? It means, Al kain ani omer ach le'elikim du minafshi. Why does the passuk earlier in this chapter, in chapter 62, why does it say, it is but to Hashem that my soul is silent, that my soul hopes? As we've spoken about numerous times, there's different approaches and different ways of thinking about Bitachon. One way is the Alter Navardics, which is the highest level, according to my Rosh Hashiva, which is that I trust in Him a certain thing is going to happen, and I know that Hashem can make even the thing that perhaps is not as good for me be good for me. But then there's a level which is also Bitachon, and the level is, and that's what he's speaking about here, I know that I don't know. Do I really know what's good for me? How can I know what's good for me? But I know that Hashem knows what's best for me, and I know Hashem knows how much of a salvation I need, where the salvation comes from, how much honor do I need. It's not something that really a human being was inside of the story. We can't figure it out. Hashem sees the whole picture. He can figure it out. I place my trust in Hashem that I'll just be quiet. I'll just be quiet and let Hashem take care of everything. I'm not going to give Hashem suggestions. I'm going to let Hashem decide for me what's right and best for me. That's why it finishes off and says, the rock of my strength, Hashem, is my protector. It's enough to pray about this. Right? Do I need to be so specific about exactly what I need? I need this particular thing. I need Hashem to do this particular thing for me. This is how He should save me, etc. It's enough to just pray and say, Hashem, you know what's best for me. Please bring about the best thing for me. And it's an interesting point here, because what does it exactly mean? Obviously, Hashem doesn't need me to pray for Him to bring about the best thing for me. Hashem wants to bring about the best thing for me. I'm His kid. Does He need me to pray? Perhaps we could say, as certain people speak about revealed good versus hidden good, where Hashem can bring about something for me. Hashem can bring a salvation for me, but it can come in a way which is challenging or difficult. And the tefillah has the power to request that, Hashem, of course you know what's best for me. Let it be in a revealed good way. Perhaps we could say pshat. But no matter what, the point is that the bitachon is, and the tefillah is, Hashem, you really do know what's best for me. So please bring my salvation, my honor, as you see fit. Says the Malbim, Al Elikim, Rasalemar, Hu Mekavim Elikim, Yesha V'Kavod Shehi HaMelucha. He hopes that Hashem, King David, we're speaking about here, Dovid Hamelech wants the Melucha. He wants the kingship. And I want to say that when we speak about Melucha of King David, of Dovid Hamelech, the kingship of Dovid Hamelech, it really is related to us very much. We spoke a few times ago, about the fact that part of the reason that the world has experienced cataclysmic type of situations, World War I, World War II, Gog and Magog, is in order to bring the Jewish people into the place where we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be the leaders of the world. And it's not natural for a downtrodden people who are exiled throughout the world, to be the leaders of the world. Although we did have that, we did take on that role in numerous situations throughout our exile, but to be the country, the people, as a whole that leads the world required that we go through a number of different cataclysmic situations for the world. And that's a promise. We're supposed to be the leaders of the world. We're supposed to be a light unto the nations. 10 of them will come and grab the full corner garment of the Jew and say, take us with you, for God is with you. These are promises. And Dovid Hamelech had this promise as well. Now, the first part of the passuk is talking about Hashem is going to save me and give me honor. Now, the honor, the Malbim understands, is referring to the fact that he's going to be the king. Now, being the king, and the Jewish people, let's say, being, the leader of the world, is not necessarily something that's promised to every tzaddik. Not every good nation becomes the leader of the world, and not every tzaddik, righteous individual, becomes the leader of the Jewish people. So that's not something that really is guaranteed to any individual personally, or generally, I would say. But King David had a personal promise. Shmuel HaNavi had come to him and anointed him and said, you're going to be the king after Shaul. So he knew that the honor that Hashem spoke of, the kingdom, was to be his. It's something that I know that Hashem is going to give me the salvation, is going to give me the honor, because God promised that. The first part is talking about a personal promise, and I say that it's also a personal promise to the Jewish people as a whole, which is we have to know that that's out there, that's on its way. But there's a promise to anyone who chooses to be righteous. That's the second half of the passuk. God is the rock. He is my strength. He is my protector. He's going to protect me from my enemies. Zenim sebelekim. This is Beilekim, right? The first part of this passuk says Al Elikim. Al Elikim means it's something that God promised me personally, but Beilekim, it's something that's intrinsic to God, as it were. Zenim sebelekim shegam b'li avtacha darkei l'shmor chasidov. There's, again, a spiritual principle. If a person is righteous, if a person does God's will, if a person is seeking to be great, spiritually great, if a person is seeking to be connected to Hashem, a person is trying to have bitachon, there's a promise, and it's intrinsic, and Hashem will take care of that person. Doesn't necessarily mean that individual is going to be a king or a leader, although all of us have the potential to be leaders and kings in our, so to speak, in our personal circumstances. But to be a leader of the Jewish people, that was a personal promise to David. To be protected, that's a promise generally to any person who tries to do Hashem's will. Says the Medrash Chachamim, Yishi uchvoidi perush sheyesheni b'chavoid v'lo yagidei man naspasam v'dam shematanasam u'ata v'cherpasam u'ruma. Dovid Hamelech is saying, God, please you save me. Please you provide me with honor. Why? Because the honor and the salvation of a human being is so limited. It's so limited. What can a person really do to help me? And how much honor can they really give me if, in fact, it's not honorable at all? When I ask a person for help, so it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to ask a human being for help. I don't really deserve it. But with you, Hashem, so with you, Hashem, it's not embarrassing to ask Hashem for help because Hashem wants to do help. He's our Father. It's not like a friend who wants to do a favor. He's our Father. He loves us. He wants us to succeed. It's not embarrassing. It's not the same kind of embarrassment to ask Hashem for help. Maybe I feel like I don't deserve it. Maybe I haven't fulfilled Hashem's will enough. But I'm trying. Hashem, I don't deserve it, but please, Hashem, you can save me big time. You can do anything. And it's not so embarrassing to ask Hashem for help. God is also my rock. He's my strength. He's my protector. That with Him, I know it's guaranteed. If Hashem is protecting me and helping me, I don't have to worry. Because He can do anything. He can protect me out of self to the nth degree. I'm not going to need anything. The Be'er Avram says, Midas HaKadosh Baruch Hu, He says an amazing thing. The way that HaKadosh Baruch Hu does things is that God brings salvation. God causes the downfall of Nasrallah, He causes the downfall of Sinwar, Mr. Shamsun, the downfall of the leaders of Iran. But what does He do? That when He brings this salvation, He wants it to be called She'enikra al Shema Adam Kedesh Yechubad. He wants it that it should look like we did it. He wants us to be partners in the story. He wants to give the Jewish people honor. It gives Him honor. It's like a father who has a child. You know, I made up a song with my son Moshe Dov. We did it together. We worked on it together. A song Baruch Hu, another song, Yo. I don't need credit for that song. I want my son to have the credit. I worked on it with him. It's fine. Let him have the credit. Why? He's my kid. When he is honored, I'm honored. I want him to be honored. And Hashem Lavdil feels the same way. Hashem wants His kids to be honored. He wants us to have that honor. Because really, when the Jewish people are honored, it's an honor for Him. Kamashik Kasav, Pasuk says in the Varim, Vayigarish miponecha oyev, vayomer ashmed. Pasuk says in the Varim, in Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 27, Hashem pushed away your enemies in front of you, and He said, destroy them. Why? Kedei lechavdoi. It was in order that Moshe Rabbeinu, the Jewish people, should get credit for having destroyed Sichon and Og. I assume that's what it's talking about. Pasuk says in Isaiah chapter 11, verse 10, Yeshaya, his rest will be honor. What did Chizkiyahu Hamelech do? He was saved by Hashem in a miraculous way. He didn't do anything. He was sleeping while it happened. Even though what did Chizkiyahu do? He was just sleeping in bed. And Hashem destroyed all the enemies of the Jewish people that had come in a matzor, to oppress the city. Or matzor Uzi. But who gets the covet for it? Hashem went by him and there's honor for Chizkiyahu. And he was saved. And I would say, why was he saved? Through his righteousness, because he trusted in Hashem. So he gets credit for it. Or matzor Uzi. The passuk says Hashem is the rock of my strength. The hint here is that he trusts in Hashem, whether it's in order to overcome his enemies, v'zeu uzi, which means He is my strength, whether it's to, another aspect of it is to be protected from them, that they shouldn't even be able to get near me. Either I can destroy my enemies, or I can be protected that they shouldn't even see me. That's Machzi. Machzi means my protector, the one who covers me. Covers for me, I would say. The whole thing here is that it's in God. My salvation and my honor. It's all from Him. Hashem wants my honor as well. Hashem wants it to seem like I was part of the story. That's the Be'er Avram. Finally, small thing here from the Shari Chaim. L'famim ba adam betchino v'akash l're'eh b'amsos yan asher iti v'moizeh b'amim rabbeis akin gam achshav l'yazeh v'le'etsheu. Sometimes a person comes to his friend and says, look, you helped me before. You got to help me again. I need your help once again. You've always come through for me. I need you to come through for me once again. And that's a valid request. It's a valid request. Help me again. King David is using a similar type of statement in his relationship with Hashem, and he's saying, Hashem, I've seen in the past. You've helped me. You've been my salvation. You've brought me honor. You have been my strength. You have been my rock. So he says, that's why I trust in you now. That's why I know that you're going to come through again. It's going to happen again. Why? Because I know that you've helped me in the past. You can always look back and say, look, how much has Hashem helped us? How much has Hashem protected us? How many miracles have we experienced? Whether we're in Eretz Yisrael, whether we've gone through exile, wherever we are. How many times has Hashem helped us, saved us, brought us parnasa, sometimes in surprising ways? How many times? So many times. Hashem has helped us until now. He's going to continue to help us going forward as well. Thank you so much for listening. See you again next time.